Meanie.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mononofu podcast. This is episode 14. We've been absent for a while, but that's okay. We're back. I am Nemuranata, David. You know, I'm the Momoka fan. And with us today, we have my good friend Alberto.
Yo, what's up, everyone? I'm always. Uh, yeah, it's good to be back on this podcast after so long. So before we get into it, I'm gonna pass it off to Socialini girl Alicia.
Yes, it is me, Social Girl, aka Alicia, and it is good to be back after all this time. And time to talk some Momoclo. We also have Jakey Poo.
Yeah.
Introductions.
I keep forgetting to write my introduction down.
It's
Yo,
fine. It's almost a characteristic at this point for your
it's a
very
trope.
brief and impactful introductions.
The man of a few words.
Even well, I guess I have only few words in certain places, but then in other places I can't shut up. So whatever.
And today, Aaron is unfortunately being replaced for good. He is no longer on the podcast anymore. Rest in peace. Instead, we have. No, I'm just kidding. He just can't make it today. Instead, we have a special guest on the podcast. Would you introduce yourself, Lynn?
Hello, I am Lynn. I am a Dekonofu, and I don't know what to say. I am so glad that I get to be a special guest today. Thank you so much for having me. Yay!
Yay.
So today
You're very
we've got some news to cover. Not much has been going on since November, but we still have some things to cover. But our main topic today will be covering Kohaku versus the New Year events, and which just a discussion of what do you prefer, what do you think is better for the group as a whole, fun stuff like that. So before we get into that, though, I think we should get into the news that we have missed since our last podcast. So I'm gonna move it over to Alicia, please.
I guess we should start with some of the overall year sales figures because since we went from 2016 into 2017, um, Oricon, yeah, Oricon, they do their at the end of each year where they compile all the sales from over the year and see which got the top sales of all the albums and all the singles released in that year. And Momoclo had a couple of CDs ranking that in the overall yearly albums chart, and the Amaranthus and Haki no Yoke albums both charted in 41st and 42nd place. Haki no Yoke ever so slightly beating out Amaranthus. It was only by like 1,000 as well. It was really close. Yeah, the exact numbers were 96,795 for Amaranthus
that face
to
when
97,482 for Haki no Yoke.
that face when Beyonce couldn't move numbers like that.
Ooh,
But
shots fired.
oh, it's weird because I don't get why the second of the album sold more than the first. I don't.
Probably because it
It
looked
just
cooler.
confuses me. Really, I'd argue the first cover looks better. The Amaranthus
Well,
cover looks
yeah, they
better.
both. I don't know.
Which
I
is
wonder what.
which?
Maybe because the
Amaranthus is the third album. Haki no Yoke is the fourth album.
Oh yeah.
maybe it's
I'm just wondering
because
who went for Amaranthus over Haki no Yoke over Amaranthus.
well, maybe because it had more of the hits on it. Maybe
It did have three singles versus two.
that might be it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Y-
pretty subjective. I mean, um, as far as which one you like better, because some
Yeah.
people, it depends on what kind of music you're into. If you like the concept of conceptual albums, how you listen to music, etc.
Yeah. At the same, either way, both of them sold really, really well. Like for any group to have an album that sells basically 100,000 copies is amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
And
one's obviously going to outsell the other. I mean, there's no there's
they could have
no
sold
real
exactly the same numbers.
yeah, but
That would be
what's the
assuming everyone
chances
buys
that will
both.
happen?
Yeah, I don't know about anyone else, but I would totally like I wouldn't even consider buying one without the other.
Oh no, me
It, w-
neither.
it would annoy me too much. But then, like, even though Amaranthus, like Hakinoko sold more than Amaranthus, it's not saying that like everyone who bought Amaranthus bought Haki no Yoke plus a couple of hundred people who bought just Haki. There would have been people who just bought Amaranthus, just
That's
more people who just bought Hacking.
that's weird to think about. I mean, I could see it if you're a new fan and you're just testing out the waters and you didn't really like it, so you're not buying the other one, maybe.
Yeah, but then you would buy Amaranthus, wouldn't you? Because it's the
Yeah,
first of the two albums.
that's true. I don't know. It
Maybe people
probably
just saw that. Sorry.
I mean, it probably was because people saw that there were more singles, like their hits on Hawking, and they decided
Hmm.
to get it.
Or maybe
Yeah,
people didn't
probably.
maybe people didn't realize that it was like a double release, so they were like, "Oh, I'm going to get the newest album."
Maybe.
That could have been it too.
Yeah. Oh well. Either way. Um. Other than that, we had the Golden History charted in the singles in 91st place, which is still really impressive,
Ah,
especially
golden
since when
history.
Golden History is such a good single.
I know.
Funny story, I didn't really care for it that much until we heard it live.
The
Same here.
song or the
Really.
single?
I
I, d-
loved it.
I did care about it, but the thing is, I think it did grow on me a lot more as time went on, even though I liked it at first. I liked it, but I just thought, yeah, it's a good single, and that's about it. And now it's probably one of my
I
favorites.
think it's one of the best
Like, Golden.
live songs because the
Yeah.
interaction part is just the best. Jumping
Yeah,
with
it's
them in sync
really
is pretty amazing.
so fun.
It almost feels to me as though like the Golden History was made for being performed live, which
Yeah.
makes sense because I can't remember where I read it specifically, but you can tell almost with how Momoclo function. They make more money from performing live on concerts and from selling merchandise than they do from actually selling new CDs. Because if they were wanting to, if like you compare it to someone like some of the other groups who sell way more CDs, but they encourage people buying multiple copies, Momoclo don't really go that route. They just like they put the singles out so they've got new music, but they mainly sell themselves on their live performances. And yet, even then, can still get these really high-ranking singles over the course of a year.
The Golden History killed my Arin doll.
You could say that Arindal is history.
Ooh.
I'm really sad now.
So, did you lose its leg or something?
Both the
So it was his
legs
arm that
are
went.
coming come off. The backpack isn't stick came off and fell into a puddle. Alberto saw that happen in the
after we
middle of the
left
road. In the
after
middle
we
of the
left
road, it just fell off.
after we left the restaurant that night, and I was taking him to the bus station. Uh, like it was falling to pieces.
Yeah. And then
Oh,
I was trying to put it back together, and there's this guy asking me why I'm not married. And I'm like, I'm trying to get this put back together. I was
wait, who was asking you if you weren't married?
I don't know, some baker guy.
What?
I don't know.
That just
Or
seems
like,
so out of nowhere.
I was trying to put it back together because the legs were in the wrong places and the arms were coming off, and yeah,
That's
sad
so
face.
odd.
I still have to get the doll fixed.
I don't get it.
I remember the first time The first jump during the Golden History, both legs went shunk, came right out from under. I'm like, oh, oh man,
Actually,
it was a nightmare.
my VIP badge at New York was kind of like falling apart. So like the string part, and so when we were jumping for Golden History, my little tiny Momoka doll fell,
Oh,
and so I was like,
oh no.
oh no. So yeah, I feel the feel. I know the feel of your
Yeah, so
precious treasures, just like, you know, dying almost.
I, there are
Tiny.
people. I remember immediately after the concert was over, one of the legs fell out, and I didn't know where it was, and I was looking around, and there were people looking at me, pointing. They're like, "The leg's gone," and I'm like, "I'm looking for it. I don't know where it is."
Oh, I couldn't imagine how scary that must be.
Yeah,
You legged off to find it.
yeah.
I will make a lot of puns this episode. I'm just in a punny mood.
Lynn's rubbing off on you.
Already, man.
Just from her presence.
Puns are good. What can you say? But yeah. So Momoclo Seed songs sold really well this year, even though they didn't release that much in comparison. Well, I say that
No,
two
they really.
albums is quite a lot, but
Yeah, they
in
put out a
terms of just the
lot.
numbers of releases, yeah, like it was
Like,
just
I
all
mean,
in like. Sorry.
2015 there was like, no, 2014 there was nothing.
Going.
Oh
There was
yeah,
practically
Moon Pride.
nothing.
that was a painful year because
It
there was
was
so
Nighttime
little.
Moon Pride, the Christmas single, and that was it. I mean, that's still something, but it was like compared to the year before or the year before that.
And
I mean,
then
Yeah.
in 2015, we had 3 singles.
yeah,
That's it.
and then pretty much nothing else after. So it was pretty cool though, the amount of music that was released this time.
And actually, I just realized I said that, but it's probably a really dumb thing to say because if you think about it well, we also had like technically 3 albums because we had the Christmas album come out just before Christmas,
Oh, I
which had the
forgot about that.
compilation, it had the re-recordings, and it had
Dude,
2 new tracks.
Wasn't only Kimi Yuki re-recorded though?
Yeah, it
Actually,
was
yeah,
only one song
yeah, it
re-recorded.
might have been just Gimme Yuki.
hang on, let me listen to that.
And
I haven't done that yet.
and then there's the 2 new songs that they premiered at Momokuri, which, by the way, rip Momokuri. It's not happening anymore.
Sadness. That was one of my dreams.
Yeah, same.
I hope they bring it back at some point because I really want to go to Momokuri. Because
But
Momokuri
hey,
concerts are honestly my favorite concerts.
at least we get How to Know Ichidaiji again.
That is a good point.
Yeah.
It's not like I get to go to that one either.
Yeah, no. It'll continue being a dream.
I'm just glad it's happening.
Hey, when I'm on my year abroad in Japan, if you ever want to go to a concert, you can come and sleep on my floor and say it helps you save money, make
Yep,
it a bit more of a dream.
I'm
That is
down.
so nice.
Thank you for that, because I love sleeping on floors and not wasting money on hotels.
I mean, I think my ultimate dream though is Tojinsai.
That's in
Yeah.
August.
It's not called that anymore.
It's just
Yeah,
Oh,
they
that's
changed it
right.
back
It's
to some
Natsuno
da-
Baka Sawagi.
yep.
Yeah, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah,
I
they
just noticed that recently.
went back 2014, 2015. Well, actually, in 2014, it was still called Natsuno Bakasaogi Tojinsai. And then they just changed it completely after that for 2 years. And now it's back at Natsuno Bakasaogi. So,
I'm guessing like originally Tojinsai was
I'm
just a
gonna.
one-off theme, and then people loved it so much they just kept the theme. They just made it all Tojinsai.
yeah, I mean, it was a good concept.
It was, it was. I still love the stages they've had for the Tojinsai concerts.
I really like the like the halftime shows and stuff they had with the performers. That was fun.
Yeah, the Tojinsai stages are honestly some of the best stages that Momoclo have done.
And then they
Just in
had
terms
that
of like the whole setup.
They had that magical moment, day 2, 2014, when it was raining and then it stopped raining.
That was
Yeah.
And they
awesome.
saw a rainbow.
Yeah, the 5-color rainbow.
Oh, it's so good. But yeah. Anyway, so if you think about it, we've actually have had quite a lot this year. Had last year, 3 albums and a single. And this year we're probably going to get nothing. We'll get
Maybe one single.
two
Two.
We're gonna
singles,
get something
maybe.
better. We're gonna get another tour.
Oh yeah,
Please.
that's
And Angel
well,
Eyes.
yeah.
that's true. I completely forgot about that. Please explain. Did we cover that? I don't think we did.
I think we did.
Did we? In
We
any
did.
case.
No, we did. We
Okay.
did.
Okay. I mean,
See, it's been so long that we've been forgetting.
yeah, I forgot. Well, anyway, just a refresher. We're getting International Fan Club, finally, and then we're getting a 2017 international tour.
But
One
when
thing.
When we don't know, but we think it's gonna be in the fall because they have to
They have no other
Natsubak and
time.
then they have spring a tour, and it's gonna be
They
great.
have no other time to do it apart from the fall, so they can't do it any other
Gonna
time.
have to miss class.
same.
Don't worry though, it's all good.
Who needs school though? Am I
Cutting
right?
class is the way to do it, really. Let's be honest.
Yeah, as long as I get teachers that don't care or that I can send the work to in advance, I'll be good.
Yeah. Speaking of Tojinsai, the Blu-ray release for that is happening in February for that concert.
It is another one of those big $100 plus releases. What
It's 11,000 yen.
what other goodies does it have included?
I can't remember. I actually think it is just the concert with a photo book,
Hmm.
but it had a really cool cover. I will give it that.
Well, it was 2 days again, right?
It was a 2-day
Yeah.
concert, yeah,
Okay, yeah, makes sense then. They have the two
which
days,
is fair.
the bonuses on those
Although
discs.
saying that Dome Trek, like the Dome Trek Blu-ray had 2 CDs included for the same price. Yeah, it is just the 2 Blu-rays and the photo book.
Just like any
But the
standard
cover,
one, yeah.
yeah, the cover is amazing though.
It looks
Have you
pretty
seen the cover?
interesting, yeah. It's not like any other.
Yeah, it looks so cool.
They have the dark blue thing going on. Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty nice.
it almost looks like the Power Rangers reboot.
Oh boy. Don't bait Alberto right
For
now.
the sake of all of our sanities, let's not get into that.
Yeah, let's not.
The funny thing is, if Aaron was here, he would like say, "Let's go, let's go. I'm gonna defend it."
Yeah, even though it looks terrible. Sorry, Aaron, but now you're not here to defend it. We will just call it out for how bad it is.
I don't really care. So
I mean, I can defend it, but that's for another day.
Yeah. But
eh.
before we mention the go into a bit of detail on the stuff we mentioned, we sort of touched on slightly with the tour. One thing that may have slipped through the cracks a little bit, because I think I've got a feeling that you might have forgot about it as well. The Hulu TV show that Momoclo are doing.
Oh,
You don't remember it, do
I
you?
don't remember.
It was it was literally announced 2 days before Christmas, but next month actually in Japan, exclusive to Hulu, Momoclo have a TV show called Momokuro-chan Z. It's a kids show which is going to involve puppets, anime, and other things. And it just seems like a really silly like show where they basically interact with loads of kids and just have a lot of fun.
Have they
And it
talked
looks
about
really
it
cute.
since the original announcement? Because I haven't seen anything about it. Like
I
aside
haven't
from
mentioned anything since the announcement, no. So it's no surprise that it's been very quiet, but
It starts in February.
Does
Yeah.
anyone even use Hulu?
In Japan, who knows?
In Japan, I think it's like because Hulu launched before Netflix in Japan. I'm sure that it's actually quite popular.
Hmm.
Like, I think it's at least on par of popularity with Netflix in Japan, just because of the fact that Hulu had its head start. Because I remember that you know the new Death Note live action film that they did.
Hmm.
That had a 3 episode like prologue basically, and that aired exclusively on Hulu. And Hulu have had a couple of interesting originals just for them. But yeah, basically, yeah. I don't know what else there is to say.
So yeah, it's gonna be Momokuro-chan Z Guchoki Party. I don't know what Guchoki means.
Um, on the bright side, it's our only chance to get a Mokro anime.
I mean, it depends on how much anime they go for.
Yeah. Well, it's the closest we're ever gonna get. Let's be honest.
This is separate from the Fruit Sisters, right?
Maybe they'll utilize
Yeah.
some of that. Who knows?
I love
I,
that song.
oh, it's such a cute song. But yeah, I'll be honest. I was just scrolling through all the news that we had set aside, and I just noticed that one, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that
Yeah, I
happens."
completely forgot
Because
about that.
they have literally not talked about it since. So we'll
They,
hopefully get info soon.
they seem to
Yeah.
do that a lot, mention things and then never say them again, aka tour dates.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, because they mentioned like, oh yeah, like, well if you think about it, they sort of did that with the International Angel Eyes. They mentioned it at a Japan only event, and then said nothing. And there wasn't even an official announcement for that until a couple of days ago when they updated the American tour website with photos. And on the top of that site, it mentions, "Oh yeah, International Angel Eyes is launching this year."
Oh, it was announced during the New Year's event, I think.
They
No, it was
officially announced.
before that.
Oh no, it was officially announced. Kawakami said it at a fan club
No,
event.
I know that, but it was officially announced New Year's event.
Oh,
Was it
okay.
announced during that?
I mean, everyone knew it was gonna happen. They just didn't
Yeah,
release any print, like, press release or anything until that
yeah,
point.
and then they did, and then they updated the American tour website with extra photos and a little banner saying "International Angel Eyes launching this year." Details coming soon, and we still know nothing else.
Pretty much.
Cries.
Momoko have a weird way of announcing things. They just give us no info, or they announce it and just like, "Oh yeah, by the way, Kawakami told us to tell you this is happening."
Pretty much.
I like that though.
I do, but I just don't understand why Momoko do it.
I think it's awesome. It keeps you on your toes. Like, oh, when is it gonna happen? Is it gonna happen now? Oh no! And then you kind of forget about it, but then they bring it up again, and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. And then they
Do
leave
you
it alone
want to be
again,
on your
and then
toes?
I kind of like that. They keep you guessing. You never know what they're gonna do next.
Well, I'd
Yeah.
like to know so that I can plan ahead.
Yeah. They
That
really need to get on those tour dates because people need to start planning for that.
They'll probably announce the tour dates at the April concert.
I mean, we
Probably.
just need to know in advance because we need time.
Yeah, or they'll at least announce where they're gonna go on the tour in the April tour dates. The thing is, when did they announce the dates for the American tour again?
Wasn't
Back
it during
in
Dome Trek?
Yeah.
yeah, it
No,
was
Yeah.
at the
they announced that it was happening during Dome Trek.
Hmm.
Well, they did
That
cities, but I don't remember the
It was
date.
like June, I think.
What?
Because
June?
they pretty much announced the dates when the tickets were coming out.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But like a week before the tickets came out, I think.
Yeah, which I
they
hope
didn't
they
even
don't do
announce
again.
it. It was like the Twitter pages of the venues.
Oh no! What happened was the Twitter page to the venue said it,
Oh, it was
and
July.
then
It was July.
July. The
In
Twitter
July.
page of the venue announced it, and then a press release went out to a really obscure Western website, which even for like weeb shit, it's like no, I've never heard of this site. There are so many bigger websites you could give this to. I've forgotten what the website was even called. For crying out loud. Um, and then they just suddenly then eventually, like a day later, they put it on their official website that oh yeah, this is happening. Here are the dates. Tickets out next week. Please buy them. It was
And
pain
then
for
they
me
had
because I'm
that.
like, I've got 3 months to plan.
Then we had that whole fiasco about the password not working for the
Oh, that was the worst. I
Oh,
actually
man.
started crying.
Yeah, and then Lack, he came in clutch and told us the right one.
Lifesaver.
Yep.
How did he find out?
Good question.
He has his ways.
Lack is a mysterious person. He's a cool, but he's such a mysterious person. I would
Well,
love to know how he finds out some of the stuff he does.
Maybe his appeal is because he keeps you on your toes and keeps you guessing.
maybe he's like related to Kawakami.
Get it? Get it?
oh my god, they kind of look similar.
I don't think
Conspiracy.
so.
Dun, dun, dun.
I think Lack is a little skinnier.
Yes, that is
A
true.
little bit. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just
Does Lack watch these?
No.
I don't think so.
He's
Ah.
been on
at the
here like
If
no.
he came here,
He came here
exclusively to make
once.
fun
yeah.
of me.
Yeah, he came in here to
Oh.
make fun of Jake and then he left.
Wow.
Yes, we have that kind of relationship.
It's all right. Those are the healthiest relationships.
We
Keeps you on your toes, Jake.
keeps you on your toes, keeps you guessing. Yes, I told you.
Yeah, there you go.
See, I'm not so. Well, I am crazy, but that's a different story. Don't judge me.
But yeah, so I'm guessing for the American tour, we'll probably get the dates. I'm hoping they'll announce a date in April.
I
Because the
need those
thing is,
dates as soon as possible.
Same.
Same.
the problem's going to be is I have this huge fear that what they're going to do is they're going to announce where they're going to stop during the April concert, like they did with Dome Track, but then not announce the dates until the last date of the tour that they're doing,
That's gonna
which
be
isn't
fun.
until like end of June.
Ha ha ha. Great.
Because that would match the same timing,
It
but
really would.
Well, I mean, it was
Well-
pretty easy to. I mean, oh well, yeah, never mind.
But it was only 3 dates though, and in the same
Yeah.
country. Now we have no idea where they're going.
Right.
yeah, he said he wants to do like he wants to do Europe. He wants to go to other places, but we don't know if he is going to go to other places. I think I think he will go to places other than America,
I mean,
but where?
yeah, we don't know, and we need to know to plan this
I'm-
out.
I'm just glad that he actually wants to go places because I mean, a few years ago, like you really didn't want to.
He really didn't want to.
Yeah, and you know what? What changed his mind? Us.
B-Rock.
I think it was a couple of very, very vocal fans changed his mind.
Yeah. Perhaps.
A few, maybe in particular, that were screaming their heads off. I don't know. It could be anyone. That's just my guess.
So me.
Pretty much.
I'm also wondering about the International Angel Eyes. Like, what is that going to consist of? Because I know that Japanese one, I feel like one of the main grabs is like,
The tickets.
yeah, tickets. And of course, that's not an option for internet. Well, I mean, it is, but it's not.
Who knows? Maybe they'll start doing monthly events internationally.
Oh god, that would be awful.
That would
you
not
know how
happen. It
expensive
would be
that would be?
awful for it would be awful for the members as well
Yeah.
because
I know. I would not wish that upon them.
Yeah.
They're as overworked as they are already. Come on, man.
yeah. But
I mean, they could include stuff like travel packages.
Hey, that would be awesome.
That would be nice, yeah.
well, if you think about that, don't it, Shachihoko have done that for their upcoming concerts next month.
Right. That's why I said it, because Shachi's doing.
Yes, Shachi doing it was actually really cool. I remember seeing
Actually,
that and being like, props to them.
I actually have a question about Angel Eyes.
Go
Hmm?
for it.
Do they live stream like their radio thing every week on there?
No.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering.
What they do put up on there is the Angel Eyes only events that they do.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
they put the event up in full
yeah.
on the Angel Eyes website. They have some also other extra special videos. They put
Mhm.
photos up. They've got the monthly Angel Eyes magazine.
Yes.
They
They
have
send you that in an wait. I'm still trying to learn the website.
no. They sometimes email you when they update things, but it's all done through the website.
Oh, okay.
So the monthly Angel Eye they're through the website, the
Mm.
photos through the website. Every other day they update with a new four coma manga.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They the and then they also have the exclusive merch site and the ability to get basically the tickets. You've got a special Angel Eyes only ticket phase.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm guessing for the international, what they would do would be something along the lines of, okay, we'll give you the photos, we'll give you the magazine, maybe or maybe not translated, who knows? I honestly don't know what they would do. I'd like to think they would translate it, but who knows? Um, the videos and an international merch store.
I would
Of
love
course,
that.
of course, with paid shipping, but like an international merch store, and overall have it cost a bit less than the Japanese one, not by much. I think they would still probably charge. It sounds bad to say it like this, but they'll charge more than they probably should, considering it doesn't include things like the tickets for the in July specific events, because of course they won't do that. But at the same time, if they have all of that in an international merch website, it's probably worth it still.
I mean, with they have to. They don't probably charging more for, or not more, but more than they should. I think that's what you said.
Yeah.
Probably because there's a little bit of like unsure. They're probably still a little unsure if it's even going to be used, and
I
probably
was. I'll
co-
admit, of
will
all the. Oh,
will require like a little bit more staffing if they're going to do translations and stuff like that. It'll cost
Please
more with
hire me.
that.
It's, I'm
they
not
should
fluent
just
though, so just
ask the
joking.
fans to do the translations. I'm sure some fans would happily do the translations for them.
For free.
Heck yeah, for free.
I mean, yeah.
But it depends. I will admit I did think they might do another international tour. I did not see them ever doing an international Angel Eyes
I know. I can't
because
believe that was
if
even.
I'm being like if I'm being pessimistic here, I'm not sure how successful it will be for them.
Yeah, same.
That's
Because
why
it
we all have
That's
to
on.
get on there. We all have to make.
Yes, make
It
it
happen.
worth.
I'm gonna have to buy a second Angel Eyes subscription, and I'm gonna cry.
Same. The day before, it was the day before they announced it when I got the subscription all done, and then it's like, hey guys.
The thing is, I already knew when I renewed mine, but I was just like, I'm gonna keep my Japanese one because I want to keep it because yeah,
It yeah.
means I got my pin. I got my second anniversary pin.
Oh really?
Yeah.
How much did that
I
take to
didn't.
ship?
Well, I got it shipped with my backpack and my puppets.
Oh, so it doesn't really matter.
So it didn't matter, but at the same time, the backpack and the puppet cost me. It cost me like 6,000 yen to ship.
Okay, here's the thing with EMS. Don't use it. It's too expensive. Use
EMS was actually the cheapest option.
what? For us,
Because
I mean, for when I
no,
use Bai, I have EMS. We have a bunch of different ones that are useless, like the
oh
C-mail,
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
and then
The
we have,
Sal, the
and then we
Sal
have
and Air.
right. I don't use Sal though. I use Air. AIR, the registered
Yeah.
small packet, which is just as fast as EMS for like a fraction of the price.
The problem was is that because of the backpack, it was too big to be a small packet.
Ugh.
So no. Here's the worst thing. I paid for the small packet, and then when they went to ship it, they were like, "Oh, it's too big for the small packet. We'll refund you." So that I think they're being very loud where I am right now. I'm not sure if it's picking up.
It
A
It
little
is.
is.
bit.
Yeah, just ignore that. Just ignore that. It's fine.
It's all good.
Anyway, so so they refunded me, and then they adjusted the shipping, and they put it onto Sal Big, or Sal Normal and Air Normal instead of being Air Small, and it made it so that EMS was actually cheapest by about 200 yen.
Well, dang.
C-mail
Wait,
just makes me crack up.
That's so bad.
I
It
I can
costs
I
more.
can guess there are some places where airmail is cheaper because I'm sure somebody must use it for them to offer it.
That's so weird. Like it costs like 1700 yen for what I just ordered. And then we have much faster options for a lot less. It's kind of weird how it's still a thing.
Who picks
Yeah.
that?
I don't understand. Like it's just funny that it exists.
I know.
I I have had airmail for one thing in the past. When I got my Super Famicom from Japan, that I didn't have an option, and it had to be shipped by sea mail,
Oh
and
my
it took
god.
4 months to arrive.
Did you
It
forget
was
about
the
it?
most. I actually did.
It'd be a nice
The thing,
surprise.
I thought it was shipping normally, and then I contacted them a few weeks later, like, it's not here, and it's like, oh yeah, it was sent out by sea mail. How long is that going to
Dear
take?
lord.
Oh, about 3 months, and I was like, what? And then 4 months later, it arrived. I was
Well,
like, okay.
nice.
I'd honestly given up, and I was just like, I could complain, but like, I'm just past. Like, it's been so long. I don't even I don't even know if I can. So I just left it, and then suddenly one day, like a parcel came, and I was like, I didn't order anything. I don't remember ordering anything. And then I opened it, I was like, oh yeah, I did order that.
Was it
It
like
was
damaged in any way?
no, it was perfectly fine. I use my Super Famicom still
Dude, not
with some I need more games, but
not just
yeah,
does it say that it's the slowest and not the cheapest, but it also says using C-mail
it
might
has the
damage,
highest chance.
yes, might damage your package. There's literally no reason to choose it.
Yeah, it's funny though.
Alrighty then. If you like using that, that's I'm not gonna judge.
Tiny Deco.
Oh yeah, I bought Lynn little Momoka or not Momoka,
The
Kaneko.
tiny, you should have shipped the tiny deco by sea mail.
Oh, she would have been so mad at me.
No, no, of
Just for the
course I would
name.
be mad because it's just you buying me this in is like a dream come true.
Well, the thing is, think about it. The tiny, like, you could then get the tiny deco at a time you least expect it. So it'll be even happy when it arrives, because you'll be like, I forgot this was happening. I'm so happy.
I mean, I
Yeah,
wanted it to
that's what
be
I always do
in.
to myself.
I wanted it to be here by her birthday, so
So kind.
yeah,
Well,
C-mail wasn't gonna cut it.
all you could do is just like give her a note, just saying like, I owe you a tiny deco.
Oh God.
Oh God.
And then
That
you
would be
pin
awesome.
pin that note up on your door until it arrives.
Draw a little stick figure and here's the substitute.
Seriously though, I'm so happy. Thank you, David, so much. I'm going to die.
It's fine.
Anyway, I think just to cover the, well, actually, there's probably two other bits of news we can cover. We can cover the fact that we did get a thought of new music video on Christmas Day. It's
Oh.
very unique. It was to celebrate the release of the Winter Song Collection, which I've mentioned with the compilation of all of their Momokuri songs, as well as the two new ones for this year, which was finally them recording Secret Love Story.
Oh, I love that song.
I love that song.
What song?
Like Secret Love Story.
What's that one?
It's on the Winter Song Collection, one of the new ones.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, look at that.
It's
There it is.
they performed it a couple of times before. They performed it at Kishidan a few years back. I
Yeah,
think they
that's a
performed a
video
couple of
that
times
I've
since.
seen.
That video, I've watched that performance so many
Me
times.
too.
I just love that song. I don't know what it is about that song, but there's
It's
just
so
something
catchy.
about it. Yeah. But anyway, they had a recorded version of that for the CD, and they also had a new song by Hyadain, which is very, very interesting.
I still have not gotten really into that song yet.
I really like it. I like how it's got like you can hear the little bits of Christmas tunes in it.
I like it, but I'm not like too crazy about it.
I will admit it is one of Hyadain's weaker songs he's done for Momo Club, but I still think it's a really good song.
I've yet to listen to it.
You need to get to it.
Jake
I
has
have
just been
honest-
so behind.
There's a ton of songs I just have never heard before.
You're
Like
so
Ari
behind.
Ari.
I can't
Yep.
believe.
Ah, so
I
good.
can't
Between
believe
the
you're so
release
far
of that
behind.
song and now, I've not heard any of the new stuff.
I still need to
Huh?
send you those songs.
I'm
Jake.
Ari.
Hello, I'm
Literally,
Ari.
Arin wa
She's so
Arin
cute.
is so good.
It.
It is really good.
I will say about Ari Arin, I was sort of a bit unsure on that song when I first heard it. Because it just goes in so many directions. I was
It's-
like, I'm unsure. You can't. I don't think you can physically take it in the first time you hear it.
I mean, just listening to her fight with her mom and then
Yeah.
becoming her mom. It's just so
I,
great.
I think you have to listen to that song a couple of times to actually understand what's going on, and to actually be able to listen to it. I don't think you can truly listen to it the first couple of times.
I
It
think
was-
the fact that it's so all over the place, like my favorite thing about that song.
Yeah.
It's definitely a song that suits her persona anyway.
Yeah.
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 It was
Oh,
cute during the last folk Mura when they changed it to Mi-chan for the background singer lady's daughter.
Oh yeah. I will admit I liked it. I like it. I like it. Really liked. I'm repeating my. Let's start again. Let's start again. I really do like that song now. It's just the fact that it was just so all over the place the first time. But yeah. Anyway, that's a bit off track. We got a music video, which was a medley of all the songs on the Winter Song Collection, with Matsuzaki Shigeru having a tablet on his chest dancing along to it. I don't know if there's any other way to put it apart from that, but that's what happens.
And then
And this is
Kimiyuki just starts out of nowhere.
Yeah, this is the second year that they've done that, if you think about it. Because last year they had the like 80s style music video,
Oh
which then
yeah.
suddenly goes into having this like person who's trying to blow up.
That
Oh
was a
no,
year ago?
No, but I mean they didn't do that until like much later.
Yeah, I
was
know.
much
It was
later.
in
Oh yeah,
like
that was much later actually. Yeah, and, never mind me, I'm being dumb.
The
But it was
trendy
still
music
for, it was still
video?
for last year. Yeah,
Well,
that was so weird.
That doesn't feel like it was that long ago.
It was a bit later than I'm thinking, but even then, it was still It was still like 6 months ago plus.
That
It's
was
just,
the best thing ever.
it was so weird. Like
It was
the
so
thing that
awesome.
still sticks in my head is when he's got the flowers, and then it just suddenly peels away, and there's an axe, and then the girl just
See-
blows him up with like TNT, and then
It
just
kind of
suddenly
looks
goes
like one of
on.
those the karaoke music videos, you know, like the random ones that are like
Oh,
old school.
Oh yeah, that's some weird stuff.
Well, what makes it so great is that it keeps you guessing.
On your
keeps you on your
toes.
All
toes. Yeah.
about you're all about the
Yeah.
guessing.
I'll give it that. I'll give it that. It does have that going for it. It's so weird though. But yeah, like it goes on. Like the dudes have Santa San for quite a while, and then it just goes into a medley after a while of Shigeru dancing along to with that on his chest, and then he's sitting there so thoughtful on a chair while Kimiyuki's playing. Like he is so thoughtful. That's the thing. Like it's so serious. He's just,
I
and
like.
then it's got like all the other songs, and then it has the new ones.
He needs to
It's
do stuff like PPAP.
Oh
The new one.
yes.
I like orange juice. That's the new one.
oh
Also-
Pikotaro is like a legend.
Yes.
I like okay, so I've never watched Tenshi to Jump. So like I
You
should.
I didn't realize that Jump was a Christmas song. Like is it? I didn't think it was.
It's not proper, but it is kind
How?
of because Tenchito Jump is their Christmas special, which I have not seen either. So fight me.
It's so good.
You
It's so
should.
good.
Both of you should right after this is done.
would not have seen that.
I'm sorry. I just
Oh,
like I haven't even watched a concert until like a month ago.
I can't believe this.
You've been a fan
I-
for 3 years, Lynn.
As soon
Yeah.
as this is over, both of you are gonna go and watch Tento Jump because it's a great
Okay, we'll
special.
We'll do it.
Oh.
It is.
I mean, how yeah, you need to watch it. Like now.
Yes, I've been a fan
Yeah.
for 3 years, but I have no merch and I've never watched a concert.
All right, I'm gonna stop streaming right now because apparently we have to watch it right now. Sorry, guys.
No,
No. We
Goodbye,
want a
guys.
live
Thanks for
reaction.
watching.
We want a live
No,
reaction.
A live reaction.
You don't have to watch it right now. It's okay. We'll finish the podcast first, and then
Welcome
you
to
have
the Mononofu podcast, where
Do it.
David and Lynn are gonna watch Tensei.
I mean, I guess it'd be an interesting reaction thing.
Do it.
But
That'd be more interesting for like an actual video though.
yeah,
Oh, I should do that for a new video.
you should.
Do it.
Okay.
Do it.
That
Anyway.
was creepy.
Yeah, I love
Anyway.
that. Do it.
Star Wars? No?
Yes.
It's from Star Wars. Okay.
Yes. I get
Anyway,
That-
back to
that
the
music
topic.
video. That music video was very weird, but very good.
Yes.
I loved it. It was pretty good.
And finally, we got a very, very exciting announcement. At the
What's
New
that?
Year Live, a
Yeah.
tour. A very, very big tour, actually.
Their
um,
biggest yet.
Yeah, it's 13 dates.
Huh?
All around Japan.
Huh?
And sorry?
Jake, are you okay?
Stupid.
Jake, what are you laughing at?
I'm
Huh?
being stupid.
Huh?
Yeah.
Stop being stupid, please.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I think we broke Jake.
So yeah, apparently.
Yeah, well, all that depressing news in the beginning really depressed me.
Oh, yeah.
So now-
Gabe.
By the way, everyone, Gabe the dog has sadly passed. Please
I don't even
one
know
like-
what that is.
one like equals one respect. He's a meme. A bunch of people remixed his remix songs with him barking, and they like altered the pitch to match the song, which is it's one of my favorite
Wait,
memes.
which dog?
He's just he's a little Pomeranian type of dog.
Oh, okay.
He was a
Also-
So
legend.
it's not the Doge dog.
No.
No.
It's a shame. I was looking forward to the Momoclo collaboration he had planned.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and they just passed away like literally a day before Trump got inaugurated.
Oh, he
Why
was
does that
escaping.
matter?
He's
I-
escaping.
Just it's been a tough week, man.
I'm out. That's what he's like.
It's been a tough
Anyway,
week.
so this tour is a 13-day tour taking place after the um April 2-day concert, where they're going to tour around the entire country. The theme of the tour is youth. Sort of like how they used to go around loads of different places, performing, traveling in the van,
Yeah,
trying
what
to
was
go
that
back to
called?
their roots in a way.
Like the
forgot.
super live with a bunch of exclamation points or something like that.
Yeah,
It
something
was
like
like
that.
something really cheesy
Yeah.
It was like
I'm
in the back of the van.
it was like Momoclo Typhoon or something
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
Typhoon.
that's it.
I mean, I also thought that Trans American Ultra Live was pretty crazy too.
That was
The
awesome.
432nd.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
what
know.
did
Ultra
What's
Live.
that about?
Actually, you know what? I just realized I forgot to ask Kawakami what he meant by the 432nd.
He probably wouldn't have answered you. He probably would have said, "Yep,
Just yep, yeah.
yep."
I'm thinking
That's
about
right.
it. Maybe it was like 4, 3, 2, 1. So like this is number 1. I don't know.
I mean, that's a
I
better
don't-
guess than any of us
maybe.
have.
Yeah, I made the guess that it was how many years America had been independent, but then I realized that that wasn't valid because America's not been
No.
independent that many years. But I have the excuse of not knowing that because I'm not American.
Brits.
Hey, it's
You're
usually the
off.
Americans who
You're off
got
a
stuff
bit.
wrong.
You're off a bit.
I know. We're the worst.
You're off
No,
about
America
100
went.
years.
Yeah, America went independent like 70,
74.
Nice.
Well, we
77
declared it.
one.
The
It was
declaration
1774.
was sent in 76, but we didn't become our own
1776.
country until 89.
Oh, so
That
who
is
knows when we got independence? Not us.
Either
The
way,
United States wasn't
you
formally
got
recognized as
independent.
as its own country until 1789.
Yeah, but it went independent before that.
I mean,
I-
de
I-
Well,
facto.
they declared an independence that it wasn't recognized.
Yeah,
Kinda like
well, to be
Taiwan.
fair, they declared independence after beating the Brits in a war. Just the Brits got so butthurt they didn't want to recognize them.
Anyways, Momoclo.
Yeah,
76.
I've been
that
listening
the
to
war.
like the only reason I have some sort of semblance of an idea of the date is because I've been listening to Hamilton recently. I've just been listening to that, and that's the only reason I have some semblance of the date that America went independent. But even then, I don't know. But anyway, that's not got stuff to do with the Momoclo tour. The Momoclo tour is starting on the 22nd of April, going all the way till the 4th of June, stopping off in Shiga, Hyoga, Hokkaido, Hiroshima, Fukuoka, Okayama, Ehime, Shimane, Tottori, Niigata, Ishikawa, Osaka,
Niigata.
and Nara. So
That's
it's
the
going to
first
lots
leg.
of places.
Literally the entire Nippon Banzai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They better perform Nippon Banzai on that tour.
I'm sure
Oh, they're
they
probably
will.
gonna end every concert with it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably one of the encores.
Probably. But yeah, so they've got the. So that's going to be pretty cool. They've got that long tour going on. I just hope they don't tie themselves out because I've just realized the Hokkaido and Hiroshima dates follow each other. And Hokkaido's like
Yeah,
the
that's
literal
weird.
opposite end of the
Whoa.
country to
Wait,
Hiroshima.
yeah.
I mean, I guess
Is
it could have been. Like,
Hokkaido's on the 29th of April. Hiroshima's on the 3rd of May.
Well, I mean, they have a few days.
They've got a few days to travel the other end of the country
Yeah.
Well, I
and then
mean,
prepare.
Well,
I
they don't
wouldn't
have a
imagine
van
flying
anymore.
I would
At least,
imagine
at least
flying
they
there
don't
wouldn't be
have to
difficult.
drive. I'm guessing they're gonna fly.
Yeah, flying
for
there
them.
might take like maybe 2 hours.
Do they
Yeah,
get like
And it's not like
private
you're gonna
jets
get.
and stuff?
I would assume so. Well, I don't
I
know.
don't think so.
The only reason they would possibly have it is because they would probably be transporting a lot of the actual stuff for the concert alongside it. But it depends. Who knows? And actually, let me just check something here. Oh, beginning of May is really tough on them. So they've got that Hokkaido date on the 29th of April. Then they perform Hiroshima on the 3rd of May, Fukuoka on the 4th of May, Okayama on the 6th of May, and Ehime on the 7th of May. That sounds very like busy for them. I hope they get the rest.
That's
Don't want-
entertainment.
Don't want Momoka to short circuit again.
Poor
Oh,
Momoka.
What happened with that? Like she just like snapped again?
Not snapped. It's just she got really like because
She was exhausted.
yeah,
Mm.
she didn't snap because she's not the sort of person to. It's just she looked visibly exhausted during Folkmura.
She cries and stuff.
Yeah,
Poor baby.
I didn't see that.
I just want to hug her when she's like that.
And she has like
Same.
she has another solo concert coming up, right? Or
Yeah.
like
Another couple of solo concerts.
Yeah.
3 of them.
jeez.
And I can't
Rip
go.
no Kaneko solo concert.
Yeah.
No
She
hustle
doesn't need
press.
No sharing
All she has
solo
to do is
concert.
exist.
Wow. Okay. I
I'm-
wish I
I'm-
could go to the Momoka ones though. Not
We just
happening.
need the moment to my we need the moment to my honeymoon concert. We need the moment to my divorce. We need the moment to my remarriage. We need. I was gonna say the moment to my sending the kids off to school concert, but I'm not sure how that would work.
Wow. Get some 3B Junior members.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
no.
No, pretend when the 3B junior members graduate, have them pretend to be the parents watching their child graduate.
Dude.
I'm getting way too into this idea.
You should
Anyway.
you should like totally hit up Kawakami.
You should take the wedding a whole step further. Uh, but yeah, so they've got a really long tour. I hope they don't tire themselves out and collapse. But I hope they do very well with the tour because it's going to be really interesting. Because it's more dates than they've performed in one go in a while. Because
Oh,
if you think
yeah.
about it, a lot of what Momoclo have done, they usually just do a couple of big concerts. I mean, they did I mean, this year they had April, summer, Christmas, and the Dome. No, they didn't do April because they did the Dome Trek instead. So they did Dome Trek, Christmas, and summer. That's all they did in terms of live events.
Aside
And
They
in
don't
from all
hold
the
comparison-
AE
concerts outside
events.
of the huge
Yeah,
ones.
they do a
Oh,
lot of
AE
Takahashis.
events in American AE events in American too. But the thing is, the AE events, which replaced Takahashi, they're not really concerts. They're more meet and greets, if anything, because they don't really perform that many songs, and it's mainly just them interacting with the fans. So I don't want to take it as anything against them, but they're not really like full on concerts. So it's hard to say that like put them in the same bracket. But they still had the American tour, Christmas, summer, and the Dome Trek, which I'm not saying is any little amount, but in comparison to this year, when they're going to have April concerts, they're going to have this 13-day tour, they're going to have summer, and they're going to have the international tour. That's
That
a
is
lot
a
more.
That's a lot.
But I mean, I
Yeah.
don't think the 13-day tour is gonna be elaborate or anything like that. I can't see that happening.
Even if the international tour wasn't elaborate, you've got to consider they're still having to fly quite a way for it, so it's still going to be quite tiring on them. I just hope they don't tire themselves out. Mostly, I just want to make sure they're okay.
Same. Yeah.
Our girls can do it.
I
I
believe
think
in
they've
them.
done worse.
They
Haven't
did.
they?
They did
They
the
have done
3
worse.
concerts in one day thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I think
When was
they can
that
handle it.
again? When
That
was
was
that again?
shortly after Akari left.
hmm
Yeah,
That was when they were
like
still
right
babies.
after.
Yeah, when they were younger and could do it. No, that's harsh.
No, they
They're not
barely
old.
did it that time.
I mean, Rennie's kind of
Yeah.
old, but we won't go there.
Well, hey,
Ouch.
Ooh.
watch your mouth. Don't make me come over
Grandma.
there and fight you. I will fight you.
Anyway, I think we've covered the news. I don't think we're gonna do Hacking no Yo Alberto this week.
I think we're a little
Um,
bit too no. We're still kind of adjusting back in the rhythm of things again.
Yeah, we will be more consistent with our podcasting schedule going forward.
Yeah.
But for now, I think we should go into the topic.
What is the topic? You
What's the
ask?
topic?
The topic involves Kohaku Utagasen and Momoko's New Year Live. Now, of course, there is a little bit of history to this. Like, Momoko had originally really aimed for Kohaku from the beginning, and then they finally got it, and they were really happy when they performed, and they performed a couple of times, and then they didn't get invited one year. I think it was actually the same year Kiari Pamu Pamu also didn't get invited.
Yes. Yes.
That was
I was
2015.
surprised that she wasn't.
Yeah, it was
invited
2015.
home.
But I remember Kiari didn't get invited either, which was another big name that missed, which a lot of people were surprised at. But the
Yeah.
difference is, Kawakami went and reacted on Twitter, Trump style, and
That's. I respect that.
I in a way, I think it was sort of a bit of a dumb thing to do. Like I understand it was more passion speaking, and he did apologize after. It was still a dumb thing to say,
I have
but he
never
went on
heard
What did he
this.
Twitter.
say? I never even saw that.
He went and said that. He basically acted like it's not like Momoclaw wanted to perform on there.
Yeah, he
I
Oh.
think
blew
he
a
said
fuse on
something like
Twitter.
he
That's
basically
awesome.
said that Momoclaw weren't invited. Momoclaw because Momoclaw are graduating from Kohaku or something,
Wow.
which
Yeah, he said that
which
they were
caused a
better than
lot
Cole.
of it caused a lot of controversy because there have been times when artists have said they've graduated from it, but it's usually the enka artists who've performed for 25 years in a row, and then they said, okay, we're graduating from Kohaku, and for that you can sort of be like, well, fair enough. Momoclo have not been going as long as those enka artists. They also they also haven't performed 25 years in a row to be able to justify making that comment. So a lot of people weren't actually that happy that Kawakami made it, so he deleted it and apologized. But they didn't perform then, and they instead did a New Year live event, which was basically they got a couple of comedians, some celebrities, and did their own couple of hour concert on New Year's Eve, which went on until after midnight, going into New Year's Day. And had a really cool shrimp jump at midnight. And
2015年もよろしく。
best, right there.
yeah, when they messed up the year, that was good. She got it right this year. But anyway, so so they performed that and they did a couple of hour concert, which was streamed online for people to watch and was really popular. And this year we don't know whether they got invited or not, and whether Kawakami, if they did get invited, rejected the application or not. But they did the New Year Live as well this year. In fact, I think they announced the New Year Live before the Kohaku announcements were made, which makes me think that maybe he did reject, or maybe they just weren't invited, or maybe never planned to accept if they were invited. But either way, um,
Well, that's what a lot of
he
groups are doing now, anyway.
well, it's they're not rejecting not rejecting the offers to go. It is true that Kohaku is starting to decline in popularity a bit, but it's not because of other artists performing their own things instead. I would argue, but we'll get into that in a bit. But basically, this year they performed their own New Year Live again, and that went on for another couple of hours, and they actually made it a bit more of a. I have a feeling the New Year Live was a last minute thing last year, because I did think they expected to be in Kohaku and then they didn't get it, so then they planned it after that. So like this year felt like it had a lot more budget to it and was a lot more better planned, because they had a couple of hour pre-show, they had the actual show itself, had a little bit of an after show, they had collaboration with a couple of TV networks, as well as a lot of streaming sites, and it was just a lot bigger of an event. It felt, but basically, what we want to discuss here is which is actually better for Momoclo. Is it better for them to do Kohaku, to swallow the pride, arguably, of the rejection of not having Kohaku last time and doing it again, or is it better for them to do the New Year Live and do their own thing? Um, I'll s- I'll just quickly start things off. Personally, I'm unsure because I would have argued last year, even though I loved the multiple hour concerts, because it's nice to have a multiple hour streamed Momoclo concert to watch, and it was nicer the way it was done. But last year, if you'd asked me, I would have argued that, well, I still think they should have done Kohaku, because the one problem you could argue with a Momoclo live concert instead is it's only going to be Momoclo fans watching it, while on Kohaku you'd have non-Momoclo fans watching it and a chance of bringing new people into the group. This year, when they had more budget, with the fact that Kohaku declined in viewing again this year and actually didn't really get that good viewing figures at all in really, and considering Momoclo's live event got really good streaming figures on all websites and TV viewings, and just the overall production value of the event compared to last year, I felt that the New Year Live was a better choice for Momoclo. And I think they should keep doing it instead of Kohaku, because I feel it's better to have a couple of hours focused on them where they can truly get to show themselves off versus a 2 to 3 minute performance in a multiple hour show.
Okay,
But
well,
yeah,
you have to consider a few things. Firstly, there are pros and cons to both of them. The first thing you gotta realize is that they're competing with a 70-year tradition Japan has been consistently doing. So the competition is pretty heavy, although the popularity has been going down. It's still a Japanese tradition. So it is very, it means a lot to them, Kohaku does. And another thing you have to consider is that this event, the Yukumomo Kurumomo, is aimed specifically at fans of Momoclo. They alienate other people. But Kohaku is a way to garner more new attention. For mass people are watching it. Older people are watching it, so they'll get more wide exposure through doing Kohaku. Now, the only reason they stopped doing it was because they were rejected, and Kawakami got kind of salty. But
They weren't rejected; they were just not invited.
yeah, but whatever. I
is that
mean,
the same thing?
it depends
They
because you can
rejected,
apply.
so he got salty.
You can apply, and they can say no, or they can just not invite you. And they just weren't invited after being on Kohaku for consecutive few years now. But in any case, the con of doing Kohaku is they only have one song. They can only do one thing. Whereas with the New Year event, they have time for themselves to really do something they want to do. I mean, Kohaku was their huge goal since they were little. Now they've kind of surpassed that. They don't really care about Kohaku anymore because they've been there, done that. They want to do greater things. So maybe for them as a group, the New Year's event is better in the sense that they get to, do new things that they wouldn't be able to do otherwise on Kohaku because of the the restrictions and the time they have allotted, etc. But at the same time, they have to realize that they're alienating new fans from joining them, which they don't. It's not really a big deal anymore because, after all, they don't really need any more fans than they already do. But it's still a thing to think about, in my opinion. There's no definite answer to this question. Is one better than the other? There are good things about each one, and there are bad things about the other, etc.
So I wanted to jump off the point that you made about how like they alienate people who aren't fans and they focus more on their own fans. I feel like that's more of a pro because, like you said, people who watch Kohaku every year have already seen them. They did Kohaku 3 straight years in a row. Um, so I think it's more important now to focus on the fans they have as opposed to trying to bring in more. Uh, and on top of that, they get much more freedom with uh like the New Year's show that they're doing, and they get to make it about them instead of doing just one song out of many different groups.
Yeah, I agree with
Hmm.
that. It is definitely better to because they have such a large fan base now that they don't need to garner any more attention than they already
Right.
do. So it is a good thing that they are specifically, targeting who they have now. But again, I mean, it's still kind of a big deal because Kohaku is such a huge event in Japanese culture that they're completely ignoring it and, just ignoring it exists basically. It says a lot about, you know, where they want to go. They kind of want to transcend this whole idea.
Right. And I
I
think
think
another part of it is uh, I don't think anyone expected them to for 10, 15, 20, 25 years. I feel like 3 years is a decent amount to be on it.
It might
Is that
be, it might have been
im-
their chance, and then they're gone. They're like
right?
they've had their shot to get mass people from Kohaku to join them, and they've gotten enough from that. I guess they don't need Kohaku anymore. It's not a necessary thing for them anymore. They have basically everyone in their ranks they need now. It's not a necessity for them to be on there.
I think I agree for different reasons to you. And I think the thing that's most telling, which is why I think the reason, while it's worked out for them, the reason they did it with more just him being salty and stubborn, is because of the fact that you notice how, for all the people they get on as guests for the two New Year Live they've done, they've not had a single other Stardust group as a guest. While in other concerts they've done, or in like when they get the whole 3B event, they always have the other Stardust groups involved. They've not had a single other Stardust group involved in either New Year Live yet, because I think Momoclo can get away with it because they're as big, and I do feel like it's worked out for them, especially with Kohaku declining. But you got to think Kohaku is still quite a big event, and if they manage to get, say, Shachihoko or Ebichu or any of the other Stardust groups onto Kohaku, you know they'd be on that in an instant. And I don't think Momoclo are too big for Kohaku because I get what you're saying that Momoclo won't be around for 25 years. So by saying they need to be there 25 years before they can feel they can graduate is not really fair to them. But at the same time, it doesn't, just because they're not going to be around for 25 years doesn't mean they can say after 3 years, oh, we're too big for you. It's it's hard to explain my point fully, but I just feel that Momoclo have got away with things, and in the end, they've managed to create a really successful New Year event where they can show off themselves. But I would never argue that Momoclo have too big of a fan base to be able to ignore Kohaku. They are one of the biggest idol groups, but at the same time, at the same time, their stuff will get reported. So there will still be like reports about the fact that, oh yeah, this New Year Live is happening at the same time as Kohaku, and maybe people will go and tune into that. Maybe when there's the downtime in Kohaku and they don't want to watch and turn it over and then flick back. So they will get people finding it out from that way. But I do feel like Kohaku would be better for them.
From the
In a way.
situation, yeah, from what I've heard about this, it sounds like that they will not be going back to Kohaku.
They won't. They won't now.
And I think even though they won't be going back, I still think it's kind of sad because it has been their dream for so long. And then, yes, they got to do it, but then to suddenly just be cut off like that from, this thing that they aim for so long is kind of sad. But I do think Yukumomo Kurumomo is like a better event for them as a group.
I feel like a lot of people, especially now that they've started televising the event this year, because they did have more time to prepare it. Because last year it was literally just a reactionary event, almost just to stick two fingers up. Um, the fact that they had television things means, of course, people could record it and watch it back later, which is quite a big thing because people would probably watch the Momoko concert at their own time if they didn't watch Kohaku live. And to be honest, Kohaku's probably within 10 years at risk of just ending because one of the a lot of the big groups who've kept on performing for them every year have stopped performing. Like Arashi did a performance again this year, who is one of the big groups, but SMAP used to always perform for Kohaku and they've stopped performing as a group altogether now. And you could argue some of these big groups brought in the viewership and now it's started to become almost an AKB event. So it's maybe good that Momoclo. The one thing I'm disappointed at is I missed my chance of a dream of maybe on one of the times when Momoclo performed at Kohaku, they got Akarin back to perform with them for
Oh
one time
gosh.
only. Like they just picked one of their original songs and just performed with Akarin. Like that would have been a dream come true. It's never gonna happen, but you know.
Fall into me.
A girl can dream, a girl can dream.
Fall into me.
Yes.
You know what they need to graduate from?
What?
Being idols. But in terms of the whole the what's better for
Wait,
me.
what?
Wait, what?
You just
I just
ignored
wanted to
that?
put that in there. I want to drop a bombshell, No. No,
He's
but
keeping us on our toes.
yeah, keeping you guessing. You never know.
I
Man,
guess.
that's a recurring theme. No, but like for me, because I've actually talked to people who, are fans of certain groups that don't get invited on a Kohaku anymore, and you know, they were never interested in Kohaku anyway. A lot of people, I mean, because even if you watch a lot of Kohaku performances, they're cut really excruciatingly short to make up for the time. And, sometimes it's hard to make a good first impression on people who are supposed to be new coming fans. Um, and, you know, a lot of things happened in 2012 that made the influx in fans that helped create that. It wasn't just Kohaku, because Kohaku has been suffering for a long time, a really long time. And it is, yeah, and what David said is right. It is a tradition. It is very important. And there a friend of mine who's a fan of Johnny's, she said that they don't really get invited very much anymore, but when they do, they agree to go on because it's just something that you do. It's something that you just kind of accept because it's kind of its legacy is still there. You know, something, even though numbers decline, the reputation uh follows it long after its actual like hard analytical decline happens. So yeah, people are still interested in going onto that show, sure. um but in terms of televising and streaming your own event, your own countdown event live, that's a lot more common than a lot of people might uh say otherwise. But like, because Johnny's does it, I know this because uh my friend told me this, because I remember telling her about what would happen, and she said, yeah, and then she started talking. But in any case, I don't really think it's that big a deal either way. They're invited, they're going to perform there. If they're not, they're going to do their own thing. It's just something that artists now do. Um, or they choose not to do a New Year's thing. I don't know what Carrie Pamu Pamu did. Maybe she just took the day off because she she really wasn't having a very good year that year. But I mean, in any case, I really don't think it's that huge a deal, either way. And I've never watched either of them, so I'm indifferent to them anyway. Either way, so that's my thing.
I always liked getting the archives from Kohaku and watching it every year. And I
Well,
think it's a shame that Momoko aren't in it.
there's a thing though. Like, even if people only like Momoclo, I'm the type of person who would watch the entirety of Kohaku just to see Momoclo perform. And in the process, you get a lot more exposure to other kinds of music. So it's kind of a win-win for the fan as well. But for people who only care about Momoclo, I guess the New Year event would be their cup of tea because it's only them. They have out a lot of time to focus on them only. But it really depends on the fan who is watching as well. It doesn't really just depend on them themselves.
I think overall the New Year event is better, but does that mean I necessarily agree they should be doing the New Year event over Kohaku? I'm not sure.
But what Jake
I
said
I
about
really don't
being
care what they do.
I mean, what Jake said about being strapped for time, they're cut really short, is true. They get like a few minutes of airtime. That's it. They're gone. It's not really like
Yeah.
the fact that they're on Kohaku is a big deal in itself, but in substance and
Right.
practice, it's not really that much of a difference, from any
I mean,
other TV.
you're trying to make an impression on people who have never seen you before, and a lot of them are older people. And I'm not saying that that disqualifies that type of audience, but you know you have to make a really good impression in like 2 minutes, and then you're done for the rest of the night. And that's a really difficult thing to do. I can't see you winning a lot of fans when you have a lot of older people who tune on to see their favorite artists from when they were younger.
As much as exposure goes, I don't think Kohaku does quite as much as the FNS Music Festival does, because I mean,
Yeah,
for
that's true.
for
Yeah.
example, the last one that aired a few months back, it had a whole idol section where for all the 48 groups, all the HP groups, all of them, Stardust, all of them came together and did all their, you know, so that is a thing that was aimed at idol groups and idol fans in general, and that would bring in more fans than Kohaku would, in my opinion, because they already like the sort of the structure of an idol group. The girls, they just have never heard them before, maybe, and they needed a chance, and they would be a good chance to hear them, to start listening, I guess. and they're doing all these songs with all the other groups too. Like Momoclo and AKB did a song together. It brings in more fans that way. I think it's more effective than Kohaku would be in terms of getting people exposure to them, and they have a lot more time to do their stuff, and a lot more opportunity to actually perform on those events rather than this huge tradition where so many people are trying to get into, so many people are trying to perform on, and they get almost no attention. Whereas here, it's a lot more, and it's not just idols. It's not just Momoclo. It's also it's also enka. It's also folk. It's also rock. It's a bunch of stuff. So in a sense, I think that FNS and smaller music festivals are more effective in getting people to learn about Momoclo rather than Hokaku would be. But as far as an event for the fans goes, you can't really beat the New Year's events, but you kind of already have to have known them to get into something like this.
Hmm. Yeah. I will say it is starting to feel like the FNS music festivals are starting to be more important than Kohaku. Although the FNS ones are also less selective than Kohaku, which gives it less impact to get on one. But at the same time, the fact that you are getting these collaborations between loads of different groups, like, and you're getting more airtime per group as well, like Momoclo. I think in the last FNS Music Festival got about 14, 15 minutes of airtime over the course of a couple of songs where they either just danced in the background to some songs or performed collaborations or whatever.
And then they got the classic, you get 3 songs to yourself and other people sing it with you as well. So it's not like they're just doing collabs, they're also showing off their own material as well.
Yeah, it's like Kohaku has become the the sick old man, like the Ottoman Empire, the sick old man of fill in the blank. It's it really sounds like from the kinds of ratings that it gets is that it's on its way out. Um,
They need to find a way to revive. Like, if Kohaku's going to continue, they need to find a way to revive its ratings, and I'm not sure what you do to do that.
I don't know either.
The problem you've got is that you've not just got like Momocro's Countdown and Kohaku competing. You've also got things like
I mean, you
the
have a ton
yearly
of other countdowns happening too.
there's lots of the thing is there's lots of big New Year's events, and one of the ones that's got a lot more popular in recent years, although it's always been really big anyway, is the Bats game, like the yearly like Gaki no Tsukai Bats game that Downtown do, which in case you're not aware, is a comedy group, and basically every year they have this 4 hour to 6 hour
Yeah,
special
yeah, yeah,
like this is just for people who don't know who are listening. Um, the where they have it's basically a comedy punishment game where they go through like a different themed thing each year, and if they laugh, they get beaten, and it sounds really cruel when I put it like that,
If they
but it's
laugh, they
also
get beaten.
it's also really funny, and I really enjoy watching that each year. And but that's been increasing in ratings while Kohaku's been going down.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's obviously most people who watch TV are younger in Japan, and they have all this variety shows, all this stuff that's based around comedy. They don't want to see these old people singing this old music they're not interested in.
yes, that is very, very true. This is there's nothing more true than that. Because one time I was talking to a bunch of Japanese exchange students, and I said one of my favorite bands was X Japan. They looked at me cross-eyed and said, "You like old people music? Why?" That is so true. Sorry.
Uh,
It's a
I
shame
just
when I'm one of these people to an even larger extent, but that's I digress.
yeah. I'm trying to get the viewing ratings for the newest Kohaku. Um, Uh, I should have thought about this in advance. I didn't think about getting the viewership ratings for this. Um, du- du- du.
I think one of the main reasons that Kohaku is dying is because they focus too much on the traditional side of Japan and they don't really care too much about the pop culture side, so they don't take in groups that are actually popular with a younger audience.
I
And
mean,
they focus too heavily on Enka or older, more renowned, more famous artists, and
I
they
mean,
don't really
the other
get
the other th-
exposure to groups that are, mainstream popular.
the other
Unless
thing you
it's
could
like
argue is that
AKB.
NHK are basically the national broadcaster of Japan. Like for me, in the UK, we get the BBC, and the BBC air a lot of stuff that wouldn't air on other networks because it's just simply not commercially viable. Like BBC do BBC have different regional ones because of course the UK has got Scotland, Northern Ireland, Wales, and of course you've got Gaelic in Scotland, the really old language that basically no one speaks now. You've got Welsh, that's a language that only Welsh people speak, and even then not all Welsh people. So no real other network that's nationally for the UK will make shows that are in Welsh or Gaelic. But the BBC will create shows in these languages, even though they're not commercially viable, to give people who speak these languages, some of them exclusively, this content. And it's part of what's seen as almost a service that the bit that has to provide as a national broadcaster because it's being funded by people. And NHK sort of has to do the same thing, which is why it has a lot of the anchor. Because it's a national broadcaster and it's sort of like it is owned by the government, that it does sort of need to like promote the traditional aspect as well. That's why it sort of has to include that. And one thing I would make a note on now that I found the viewership ratings is that yeah, we see Kohaku losing popularity, but for example, I'm struggling to find the 2017 ratings. But even if we just look at 2016, um, you are still looking at quite high viewership ratings. 2016, it was its lowest year ever, but it still hit 39.2% viewership, which is nothing to sniff at. Because even if you consider, for example, um, what's it called? Oh yeah, that's the example I was going to use. If you consider, for example, some of the biggest shows that aired in Japan over the year, like I know a lot of people might not have heard of it, but there was a really big drama that aired last season on Japanese TV that caught Japan by storm. A lot of it thanks to its ending theme, and you've probably seen like if you follow Momoclo, you've probably seen if you watch the newest um Folk Mura episode, you've seen them doing the koi dance, which is the ending song for this drama. And this drama was hugely popular, and that got 17% viewership in comparison to 39%. So yeah, we're talking about a show that's going down in ratings, talking about a show that's not really as popular as it was. It still gets a hell of a lot more viewers than Momoclo's stuff by a long shot. So that's one thing you've got to consider in that regard.
Yeah, I mean it is still the event to get on if you're an artist. It's not it I don't think its reputation as an event of Japanese culture tradition has gone down in any sense. Just less young people are interested in it now that they are kind of being alienated by it.
Hmm. Oh, by the way, I've just found the viewership, and it did actually have an increase over those 2016
Now
ratings.
that is interesting.
Yes. Um, viewership at its highest was at 44.8%. Hello?
We're good.
I just. Oh, we've lost Lynn. Um.
Well, rest in peace, Lynn.
No. Anyway.
It was
Anyway.
fun while it lasted.
The highest viewership point was 44 0.8%, and it's averaged 40.2%. And so it was an improvement, and you've got to think it also included some quite big artists. But again, it did have some artists skipping, like SMAP skipped having their final performance beyond Kohaku, because of course they were splitting at the end of the year, and they didn't have their last performance on Kohaku. They kept it for their own show. So you do get the two sides there. I'd be interested to see what the viewership was on Momoko's live event in comparison, because it would be a hell of a lot lower.
And
Even if I do.
yeah,
Mm.
and it's too hard to gauge because they had so many different sources streaming it. They had like 3 websites and 3 different TV sources. I think it'd be a little too hard to gauge the viewership as a whole.
Oh yeah, it'd be too hard to gauge as a whole.
Oh, I'm alive.
Um,
Hey, what's up?
There she is.
I don't know what happened.
yeah.
Okay, continue.
But yeah, so we have like, even if you took all of those sources together, like I think we saw that the line viewership, it got like the line viewership, which is just total viewership, like cumulative instead of like concurrent, got to 1 million, like, or a couple of million by the end of it. So you're probably looking at an average of about 150 to 200,000 people watching at a time. That's just a number plucked out the air. I have no idea if that's accurate. Overall, if you took all the sources, you're probably looking at maybe a 2% viewership in comparison to the 40%. And while it is more focused on Momoclo fans and you would have non-Momoclo fans watching it, would it be better for them to be on Kohaku?
Well,
Who knows?
again, I don't think there's a definite answer. Like I said, there are
I
pros for it and cons for it. There's not really a concrete Kohaku's better end story or
I don't think it
Momo's
even
better.
I don't think it even matters.
Hmm.
At this point, I think Momoclo is securely popular enough not to really,
They're
Have to worry
really,
about
really
it.
they're on the edge of becoming a household name and transcending the whole idol stigma. And that's why I think they should stop
Arguably, they
calling themselves
have.
idols. They need to
I,
stop calling themselves that, because then they won't. I don't think they'll have. I think their popularity would probably increase.
I disagree there. Arashi are still male idols. Arashi, like, there's no way you can not call them male idols, but they are household names in any way. You can't say that being an idol stops you being a household name.
Yeah,
I'd argue
Well, no, but
Momoko.
there's a stigma to it.
No,
There's a stigma that is
there's a
hard to break.
there's a stigma, but at the same time, Momoclo are probably big enough, and to be honest, it's something I've thought since the start. Momoclo are so unlike other idol groups that I don't think they get the stigma by calling themselves an idol group.
I do think
Well, I
what
And
mean,
I'd
Jake is
argue
the
they're already.
saying.
label, the
I'd
label
argue.
of calling themselves
Yeah,
idols would probably automatically turn new people off.
yeah. What Jake is trying to say is that by calling themselves idols, people think they also have that stigma. They're all like any other group if they have not looked into it at all. Like I mean, I
You know,
followed the stigma too. I didn't get into idols before because I thought they were all like AKB. I didn't like them, and then I found
If they're in,
Momoclo.
right. I mean,
uh,
it's like oh, idols. Okay, just like all the other ones.
I think people see idols kind of like, oh, those hot young girls that old creepy men like.
Yeah, and there's like a documentary that's premiering on Sundance about it that's basically saying the same thing. And they don't take into account of female fans or anything.
if if you were talking about internationally, I would agree with you. The difference is and I'm like, I don't live in Japan, so I can't obviously say what Japanese people think about this. But I'd argue Momoclo are a big enough name in Japan where people would know at least a basic level about them, whether they were an Idol fan, a Momoclo fan, or not. And that basic level of knowledge would probably spread to the fact that they probably know that Momoclo do have a bit of a more wide ranging subject matter and fan base than a lot of other idol groups. Momoclo are basically known as an idol group where you have a lot of more female fans, you have a lot more older fans. They're known for that. It's
Well,
almost one of
younger
their thing. It's
fans.
all, and well,
Younger fans mean more than the older ones.
but yeah,
Because
that
that means that they're open to the entire family, not just a select group of guys who like a certain girl because they're attracted to them, like what AKB is basically fueled by.
yeah,
They have
but
a
I
Kodomo Matsuri, but they don't have like an old people Matsuri. That'd be
Well,
kind
they
of
no,
they
yeah,
cool.
the
don't, but
young
they also
fans
have
are key because that's also insurance that later on down the line they'll still have fans coming in because you have little children who are now nostalgic for this group that they grew up with.
they also don't need that when they've got the female only like the female only concert, which I tell you now, I'm 95% certain there isn't another idol group that does female only concerts. I
Yeah,
mean,
Mhm.
again,
Momoko
I'm
does a
not.
lot of different things.
Yeah, and I think people. Anyway, go to the main thing because it's sort of like the main thing I'm trying to point out when I say that is that Momoclo have the main thing. Um, the main thing that people would know about them, even if they know nothing really about them, is that they are known for being different to other idol groups. So therefore, even calling themselves idols, because in Japan people do have the basic level of knowledge that they're not like all idol groups, it doesn't affect them in the way. And I'd argue because of their popularity, they're already a household name where you don't have to say that, oh yeah, they're an idol group, but they're not like other idol groups, and by calling themselves idol, that has a negative effect.
Hold on, let me clear something up. In the chat, they're saying that people got mad at Otoko Matsuri, but that was only one thing. There was only
No,
one event. They got
the
Well,
no, the problem with Otokomatsu,
they
which
had
people
it
which they
before.
got mad at, it's because I think the exact argument is that they held Otokomatsuri in a more remote area than they usually would, and the argument is that they didn't bring Momoclo to the area normally, and yet the first time they do it, they say, "Oh yeah, well only men can attend the concert." So like like women in the area did get mad, which is sort of understandable if they don't usually go there normally.
but
Um,
but the whole thing with Otoko Matsuri in general, it started in 2011, and there was no issue about it for 5 straight years.
Right.
yeah. There wasn't really that much of an issue with just a couple of small, like a small group in that area, where it was just like, you don't come here normally and you come here and do a male only concert. What's up with that?
Yeah, I thought it was like this like kind of group of people who like didn't know about
Yeah.
how they did both.
Yeah, they didn't know that they did male only and female only concerts. But I think mostly the problem was that they picked quite a remote area for the male only concert, while instead of picking like a city centre. And since of course they don't usually perform in the more countryside areas anyway, the fact that they do, and then suddenly say, "Oh yeah, we're only going to let men attend,"
Hmm.
that was more of the problem, not the fact that they were doing a male only concert.
But Otoko Matsuri in general has no problems. No one cares.
Yeah. But people do notice the fact that they do female only concerts.
One day I would like to attend a Short People's concert.
The way you're
How
not having to
short do you
look
have to
over
be?
people's shoulders to be able to see.
Yes, that would be amazing.
Try and see if you can get in the Kodomo Matsuri. Actually, I think technically, if you're attending a child, you could go to the Kodomo Matsuri. So, just 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 steal someone's child.
Oh yeah, that's a simple solution.
Just say like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just borrowing your child for the day, so I can go to a Momoclo concert. I'll bring them back later."
In
Seems
any
like the perfect
case,
solution. Yeah, I think we've sort of talked about most of the things we can say for the topic itself.
Lynn, you haven't said your thoughts really.
About what?
Like, what do you feel is better?
Oh, well, I kind of said it. I mean, it's kind of sad that they're leaving behind Kohaku since since, they aimed for it for so long. Um but I mean, yes, I think Yukumo, like, yeah, like they're kind of spreading their wings and they're doing their own thing. So I think it's okay. I mean, uh, really it doesn't affect me too much because I don't get to see it. um
Oh, yeah, it's another thing. We're international fans.
Yeah,
But
so that's
Yeah.
probably it's probably a reason why I
Yeah,
was, I liked them for 3 years, but I didn't really get to buy any merch or get to watch anything is because, I wasn't aware of like these back end sites. But also, yeah, there's like so much there like is not any international there wasn't any international like advertisement or anything whatsoever. Like they just recently made a Facebook.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and the thing
like
is, they made
that's the thing too, because you know, for some for like people like me, I it wouldn't matter which one they went to because I wouldn't be able to watch either.
Yeah.
So it's like, what does it matter to an
But
international fan?
if we're talking about like in terms for item like which is better for them,
No,
I
yeah, no,
mean,
yeah, I get that, but like, you
yeah.
know,
So
I
what I'm
mean,
saying, I'm just
Kohaku is streamed by NHK World, if I'm not mistaken. But I mean,
I don't.
I
Not
don't think
live.
it
I don't
is.
think.
is it
No, it's
not?
not.
If
No,
if not now, I think they used to at least.
Yeah, because I
I'm
watch
sure
NHK
they never
World and I
did.
have never
I'm
seen
sure they never
anything.
have.
If they don't, I don't know what they're doing. They should to spread Japanese
Oh, they
culture.
should.
But
There was one time before Anime Expo where I just happened to be watching NHK and then the creative woman came on and it was an interview with Kanako and like
yes.
they're talking about AX and that was like so amazing to actually see them on my TV.
I watched that at Target when I was shopping with my mom.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
They had an
Yeah.
NHK World on in Target.
No. It was on my phone.
The app that does the
Yeah.
live.
Oh.
No.
What I think I could understand them not airing Kohaku Tagasen live because of course it is in Japanese even apart from the live performance stuff. But I do feel like NHK should do something about maybe the next day having a subtitle version showing on their network because it is like you said the perfect thing they should be doing. And
Mm.
I wonder if they did go more international with the Kohaku Tagasen, Momoklo would consider going back to it.
I don't
Because the
know.
NHK World is watched in quite a lot of places.
I don't know. Maybe Kawakami's just like, forget Kohaku. Come on. We're better than them. Nah.
Well, he was like that originally. Maybe he's still salty at being dropped a year ago.
Who knows? I mean,
My only my
he's a strange man sometimes.
he's a cool person, but he does make some odd decisions. I love him for it though. But
In any
yeah,
case.
Kohaku's big, Momoklo are big. Momoklo New Year's Live is good. Kohaku is good. Everything is good. We're all happy.
Yep. In
In an
despite
ideal world, they could do both, but they can't.
I mean, despite that, at least internationally, they're getting more attention. They're getting more, exposure. They're spreading their wings, as Lynn put it. There are some good
Yeah.
things that they're happening, and Kohaku's really not that for them anymore. They don't really, they're kind of, they don't need it.
Mm, in a way, yeah. But
So
I'm
yeah.
sure if they were invited on there again, they would go on.
yeah, I mean, I don't really. I would say
Well, we
that.
don't know. They may have been invited and got rejected, and rejected it again.
I don't think they would.
Mm,
I really don't think they would.
at the same time, like
Because like what David said, it's a mindset that especially, people from the Asian cultures. I know that sounds really bad, but I went to school for this. I promise. Tradition is important,
it
and
is.
to break it is just like insulting. I really don't think they would turn it down, even if they thought they could do
Why
better.
I
does
mean,
this keep happening to me?
Kawakami's a stubborn man.
He is. Like I
But he
do agree with
apologized.
you when you say that
He apologized. He
he
admitted that he
apologized, but
went
that's
off and he was out of line. So I mean, obviously, even he has probably moved on from that. I
at
Yeah,
the
but
really don't think
at the
they would
same
reject that.
time. At the same time, Jake, how many has there ever been a time where you've gotten mad, done something, you still think you're right, but everyone thinks you're wrong. You've apologized because of the pressure put on you to apologize, but still thought you were in the right and stuck with that view the whole time.
Yes.
But
There has been
I
times
I
that's happened to me. I'm sure
I
that's happened to everyone at some point, and I could honestly imagine Kawakami being someone to, even though he
everyone's like that.
apologized, keep
That
this
that's
view.
that's that's what people are like. But what I'm saying is I even in spite of that, I do believe that they would go on again if they were invited.
I feel like that would only happen if it was like years from. It wouldn't happen anytime within the
Oh, I'm
next
not
few
saying it would
years
happen soon.
because I don't know. Kawakami seems like the type who like he does something ballsy because that was a pretty ballsy thing to do to like decide they graduated and then to just go back in as soon as they invite them again. I feel like he's
He's
too
too stubborn.
prideful. Yeah,
I
I don't.
I
I
respect Kawakami a lot for being stubborn, and
yeah,
I
me
think
too.
he would be too stubborn to go back.
Well,
I
it
mean that
seems
that
like
is a
that.
real. Oh, go
Sorry,
go go.
it seems like that. He's able to go back on his decisions, kind of, because he was saying like, "Oh no, I don't want to do anything overseas," but then he did,
Well,
and it was sort of quick, I guess. So if they were invited again, he'd probably consider it, but I don't know.
I really don't. I can't see him saying no to going back. I just don't think they were invited.
You could argue that, but it seems that Monaco were planning their New Year live this year, long before the invites happened for this year's Kohaku.
I
So,
mean, they
but
I
they,
they're probably
if you
under the assumption that they're not going to be invited again.
well, the thing is, if that was the case, then why did Mobicro wait till after the Kohaku invites came out for them to announce any details about their New Year live?
Maybe they were thinking there was a chance. I mean, if I was, because if
But
I
then
was
if they
Kawakami, I
thought
would be like, okay, I went off, but I apologized, and you
yeah,
know
but at the
that
same time,
2015 wasn't that great a year, but maybe 2016 we might have something, and we'll just wait it out to see what happens. Oh, we're not invited again. All right, so maybe we're not going to be invited again because I made a dumb move.
Yeah,
So
Dev,
I
I
don't know.
think
I
that
have a feeling that that's more likely.
I think that NHK doesn't want to consider Momoko anymore because Kawakami basically insulted them by saying they're graduating from
hmm.
Kohaku. So maybe
Right.
maybe the first time they were invited, but were that Maybe the first time they were rejected invitation, and the second time they weren't invited at all.
Like the thing I would
No,
argue is that
no. They weren't. They weren't. They didn't reject the invitation in 2015.
No, I mean like they were not invited. Yeah, that's when. I don't know.
yeah. The, th- the thing
Because
the
that's
thing
when
is
Kawakami like exploded.
yeah.
Yeah,
The thing
and
is
then they probably weren't.
I would argue that you're saying that well, like, 'cause when I made the point about how they seem to have been planning it from before the Kohaku invites happened, but they didn't announce anything till after. The problem that you said that they were waiting to see if they got invited. But if they thought they could get invited, why would they have planned the New Year event?
Well, they probably thought it was unlikely.
No, the thing is, it goes in a cycle. You can say that if you're planning the New Year live before the Kohaku invites, you're not planning on going to Kohaku. You can't then, but then they also did wait until after Kohaku to announce the stuff. So it's just a cycle basically of that. Like they waited until after Kohaku, but they were going to reject it anyway.
I don't think.
I don't think we'll ever know.
We
I mean,
won't ever know.
what if they were
I just
waiting
I just
for?
believe that Kawakami is stubborn enough that if he got invited back, he would say no. Because
I don't.
the thing is, I think he believes he's still in the right, and I actually, and if that's what he believes, then so for him, I do actually believe he still thinks he was in the right, saying that Momoko should have been invited. He believed that Momoko should have been invited, and he doesn't believe he should have had to apologize. It's the sort of person Kawakami is, even if it's more like, even if you can argue that it's more established Japanese tradition to maybe be a bit more respectful. I think Kawakami is just a bit more stubborn. I don't think that's a
What
bad
if,
thing.
what if they were holding off releasing details about the countdown in case they were invited onto Kohaku? Therefore,
But
they
then
could
why would
do
they plan the
something before.
countdown
They
if
could
they
do
thought they could
something
be
before,
invited?
and then no, they could do something before going on Kohaku, and then going on Kohaku after. So they could
Mm,
have two things.
but then they would have had to do it on a different day because they
Yeah,
couldn't.
but I mean, but then they could switch up the there's more of a they had more freedom. They could do more with what they could, their own thing, rather than change Kohaku, which is kind of difficult.
I think it's unlikely that that's the case. That's just my personal opinion, though. I do believe that Kawakami just would have rejected if he got invited again. But that's just
I know. I think that would be worse than going on a Twitter tirade against them.
It would be interesting, but in any case, I don't know. Who knows? In any case, I think that I really think that the Yukumomo Kurumono is here to stay.
I think so
yeah,
too,
yeah.
and it's
It's
probably for
better
the
for
better.
the fans. It's better for the fans.
Because I mean, I don't know.
Anyway, I think we've covered about everything we can. So, is there anything anyone else wants to add before we finish?
Eh.
I like Kanako.
Me too.
Do you now?
Yes,
I never noticed that.
Virtual high
she's
five.
nice.
Okay, so
Best thing
just
ever.
just as we're wrapping up, before we together, just from each person, one quick final word on whether or not you think one is better than the other, just to have solid answer from each person.
As in
Start.
Kohaku or New Year Live?
Right, right.
Okay. Do you want to start then?
Yeah, I'll start it. Said earlier, I feel like in the long run, the New Year's Eve Momoklo events, the Kumomo Kurumomo, are gonna end up being better for them in the long run. So I feel like this is better than going on Kohaku. I just want to pick it up from
Okay.
there.
I'll say the next one. I don't think that can be answered. It's really down to subjectivity. Whether you think makes it better does not
Well, what do you
necessarily
personally
make it
think?
better.
What do you personally
I
think?
personally think it doesn't matter at all. They have garnered enough of a fan base to completely avoid Kohaku. They don't really need it anymore. They can do their own thing, spread their own wings the way they want to. That's what makes them unique as a group. Don't they don't follow conventions of the normal idol stigma. They they go beyond what an idol would usually do, and in spite of not wanting to appear on Kohaku anymore, there are also pros for the fans that they already have. So in the sense, it might be not a good idea to avoid Kohaku or ignore its existence, but at the same time, they're big enough to where they don't really have to worry about it anymore. So in my opinion, they can go either route, and I'd be completely fine with it. It's just what Kawakami wants to do in the future that decides that. I personally think that he will not be returning to Kohaku, either because he doesn't want personally feel like it anymore, or because that they don't want them on there anymore. It really doesn't matter. The point is that they're trying to do their own thing now, and that's good. They instead of, well, after Kawakami apologized, they're not really salty about it and complaining that they weren't on. They actually did something to compete against it. They're trying to do their own thing. They're trying to do something for the fans that they normally wouldn't get to do on Kohaku. They have a lot more freedom on Yukumomo Kurumomo. They have a lot more, you know, events that appeal to Momoclo fans. The people who like Kohaku, that's fine. They can watch Kohaku if they want. But there are also other people who are going to tune into Yukumomo Kurumomo. So, in the end, it doesn't really matter where they go. People are still going to watch them in the end. What matters really is what the girls decide that they want to do. And if they don't care about Kohaku anymore, then I don't care about Kohaku anymore.
These have been very long one-word answers. Um. All right. So, I guess if I was gonna take everything into consideration, I think Lynn should answer first.
What? What? Fine, I guess
Putting her
you
on the
want.
spot.
Okay, well, again, I am sad that they are leaving behind, that they seem to have left behind Kohaku, because, it was something that they wanted to do for so long, and they did do it, which is good. But ultimately, yeah, I think Yukumomo Kurumomo is like the better thing for them, just because they have so much room to do whatever they want to. So yeah, I guess. I guess Yurumomo blah, blah, blah. It's a mouthful. Yukumomo Kurumomo is like something that I would rather watch besides just the Kohaku with one song. So yeah, I don't know. I guess Yukumomo Kurumomo is my vote. Also, why did they never perform Yukuharu Kuruharu? I've never,
Asking the real questions.
I have never seen a performance of that. I think they did at Dome Trek, but otherwise, I don't.
I don't think that song's very popular.
I like it. I think it's nice.
I like it too, but whatever.
Okay, so that's my vote.
All right then. So for me, as much as I personally, as a fan, prefer the New Year live, I'm gonna go against the grain and say it would be better for them to do Kohaku. The thing is, I prefer, like, as someone who's already into the group, I'm obviously going to prefer watching New Year live because I'm like, okay, I can sit here from 8 p.m. Japanese time until 1 a.m. So I get 5 hours where I get a pre-show, I get a concert, I get some comedians, and I get an after show, all with Momoclo. I'm in heaven. I'm gonna just sit and watch that and just be happy. But at the same time, I just feel that because Momoclo, like, of course, they don't just have their performance, they usually help out with other performances. You usually get, like, the big female, all female performance. Momoclo usually do some stuff with the anchor performers, and they have their own performance. And I think because of the viewership that Kohaku gets, even if it is going down, or at least it's still lower than it has been in years past, I feel Kohaku is still better for them to do, at least for now, until if it depends on how long they're planning on going on. Considering we know they're already going on till at least 2020, I feel like they should do Kohaku until at least 2020. If they go on past 2020, then I feel like after that maybe they can consider going past Kohaku. And I just feel that Kohaku shouldn't be ignored, which I feel like it's going to be by Momoko from now on. Not that I consider it a bad thing for my personal enjoyment. But yeah, that's my view. Against all your views, I think Kohaku is better. Sorry. Sorry.
Can I say something?
No,
Yeah.
Or did I say enough? Did I
Oh,
say
you
enough?
haven't said yeah. You say.
you gotta say
I'm
your
I'm with
final opinion.
I'm with David. I don't think it really matters, and this is coming from someone who hasn't experienced any of this kind of thing. And maybe that's why I'm indifferent to where they go because I it's inaccessible to me anyway. But from a logistics standpoint, I don't think it really matters all that much. Um, it, yeah, basically what David said is kind of how I feel.
Thanks.
Uh, fair enough.
And with that,
I
we've
think
said
we've
our
covered
thoughts.
everything.
Now, keep the conversation going on Twitter with the hashtag.
Oh, Twitter is lit.
Wait, did
Twitter is
Alberto
lit.
get to say his opinion?
I did. I was the first one to say it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So okay,
I'm sorry.
keep this conversation going on Twitter with the hashtag Twitter is lit with a Y instead of an I on the lit.
Woo!
And it's lit for the wrong reasons.
Please. But yeah, that was our return of the the
I like
Mononofu
that name.
podcast.
Can we
Uh,
turn that into a
Shush. I got a tongue twister, okay? Well, it wasn't even a tongue. Shut up. It doesn't matter. Anyway. That was a wonderful podcast. That was fun. That was enjoyable.
I
It's
hope that we.
definitely called the Mononofu podcast.
Yeah, I really
And
hope we don't take another 2 months break again after this.
I don't think we will. I hope we don't.
Let's try to avoid that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
sounds like a plan.
Ideally, we're back in what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, I mean,
Something like that.
in an ideal world, yep. So yes, that was episode 14. Please,
Thank you for letting me be a special guest.
We have
you're
twice as many
fine.
episodes as Star Wars.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
so far anyway. But yeah, so
Speaking of which, someone gave me Star Wars Episode 7 as a gift because I've not seen it since I saw it in the cinema.
you should watch
So
it.
now I'm gonna have a chance to watch it again for the first time in a while when I finally get a chance to have a break.
And
Do
you
it.
Doing
two,
work.
you two who haven't seen Tenshito Jump have to do that. Like,
Oh yeah.
We'll talk about it.
Do it.
And
Is it on VK?
I have it. Don't worry.
probably.
Okay.
So, in any case, thanks for tuning in to the Mononofu podcast after this long hiatus, I guess. Join us next time when
Yeah.
we do something else. Yeah, keep the conversation going. Twitter is lit. We'll see you there. Thanks for tuning in. See you.